Iran, with a population of 80 million, is a very diverse community in spite of what you might believe. I found myself as a Westerner travelling around the country that the people were very welcoming and friendly. I couldn't walk down the street without someone coming up to me saying, "Where are you going?" And I'd tell them I'm going to a mosque. They'd say, no, please, get on the back of my motorbike. They'd show me a mosque, show me 2 other mosques, take me back to my hotel without a question asked, and then invite me for tea, meet the family, and just, most welcoming, warm people you can imagine. The country has this kind of difficult position it has currently, but the people itself, I want you to remember, are beautiful, kind, generous people. I learned as I travelled around the countryside that everyone was curious about what the West thinks of them. The country is very much isolated, and I never knew another example of it more so than when I was wearing a Simpsons t-shirt and everyone kept asking me, "Who are these Simpsons that are on your shirt?" This just goes to show you the isolation that occurs in the country. That said, Iran is a very modern, progressive place in certain areas. But as you travel throughout the countryside, people live a very historical and traditional lifestyle. So let's get back to it, see some more of Iran and continue on our travel, shall we? I'm Jason Ross. This is Jason's Journeys. Let's go back to Iran. So in this section of Jason's Journeys, we head out of the Tehran Southern Bus Terminal bound for the city of Isfahan. Welcome to another quiet morning in Tehran. It's chaos, it's 9 in the morning at the Southern Bus Terminal. It's stinking hot, 33 degrees at 9 in the morning, and we're off to Isfahan, which is 450 kilometres to the south in central Iran. Now to get from the hotel to the bus station, $5. To get a bus 450 kilometres to Isfahan, $7.50. Go figure. But this is our bus behind me. We're about to go on board. It's off to Isfahan. Let's go. So we got on board the bus and I met the bus driver Mohammed, who was very friendly, and we got to know each other over the course of the long trip ahead. They'd given us snacks, a comfortable air-conditioned bus, and it was time to head out into the southern desert. So as we kept heading south, we went through the ancient city of Qom, which is famous for being the birthplace and home of Ayatollah Khomeini, the father of the Islamic Revolution. So as we headed south out of Tehran, we skirted the harsh, inhospitable desert that covers much of central and south Iran. It's no Sahara, more a grey wasteland with occasional licks of white salt. But it's like the vast North African sands with swirling myths, my favourite being the evil-sounding ghoul, a monster with a particular need for ambushing unsuspecting travellers and feeding on their flesh. Today it appeared to be in full swing. The screaming heat meant that we travelled on through the desert bound for a lunchtime stop. The only problem was it was Ramazan, so there was going to be no food at our lunchtime stop. Okay, so we've stopped for our obligatory lunch break on our bus trip. We're about 40 kilometres outside of Qom. You heard about how important Qom was in the history of this country before. Let's see how we go stopping here. It's mighty hot, about 40 degrees, but we'll be back on that bus soon. Let's enjoy the pit stop, shall we? On board the bus, I was somewhat of a celebrity. I was made to sit with the bus driver, who needed to know everything about me and the rest of the world as we travelled along. This is just another example of the friendliness shown to you by the people. Everyone on the bus was so welcoming, so we sat there, of course not officially able to eat any of our snacks, but perhaps some of us may have drunk tea from a gigantic flask as we travelled along our journey. So as we continued back on the road, I looked out the window and it was desert, desert, industrial waste sites and more desert. So it's with some gratitude that we finally arrived in the outskirts of Isfahan, where I was grateful to get off, get into a taxi, arrive at my hotel and relax and enjoy the remainder of the day planning what to do next. Okay, so here we are. We've arrived after our 8-hour bus ride from Tehran to Isfahan. If you came by car, it would probably only take you about 4 hours, 5 hours. But of course our bus stops every 5 minutes to pick people up, which is the way it is over here. Anyway, we've made it to Isfahan safe and sound. This was one of the highlights for me of why I came here. So we're going to head down to the main square, where Imam Square as it's known, lights up at night for visitors and locals alike. Let's go for a walk down there, check out what it's like and see the lights, the sounds, the noises and the smells of Isfahan. Let's get going, everyone. So I grabbed the biggest hamburger and chips I think I've ever had in my life, which after 14 hours of no food or drink really went down a treat. I headed down to Imam Square, which I'll tell you more about after the break, but it's an important meeting place where people come out at night to sit on a blanket, talk to family and friends and get to enjoy the nightlife and the lack of oppressive heat that happens during the day. So it was a great place to hang out and just enjoy the lights of Isfahan. Okay, so welcome to another screaming hot day here in Iran. We're in Isfahan and today we're doing the half of the world walking tour. It's called this because once it was said by a famous poet that Isfahan was half of the world and it's one of the most important areas for mosques, etc. We're going to actually see the mosque from the outside during the walking tour because today is Friday prayers, but after lunchtime we're going to go inside and see all the different designs of 800 years of Islamic architecture. So the main street, Shahab Abbasi Street, is a much more relaxed environment. We have a lot of tree-lined streets and very wide boulevards you can walk down with grass, trees, plants. It's a more chilled out atmosphere than certainly Tehran, put it that way. Don't go away because after the break we complete our walking tour of Isfahan. We go inside some of the amazing mosques in the city, we check out the architecture, we go and see how some of the local people live, and then we head our way down to Imam Square and check out the grandeur of the palace, the mosques and the various areas around it. It's not to be missed. I'll see you all after the break, everyone. See you shortly.